Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to realize today that the greatest battles we face are not outside of us, they are inside our minds. Every day, we are confronted with thoughts, some empowering, some crippling. Negative thinking is a silent enemy that can paralyze your potential, steal your joy, and prevent the blessings that are already waiting for you. But here is the truth: your mind can be transformed. Your life can be transformed simply by changing the way you think. Negative thoughts often come disguised as reality. They whisper, "You can't do this," or "It's too late for you." They exaggerate your failures and diminish your victories. But these thoughts are not the truth. They are lies that keep you stuck. You must rise above them and recognize that your mind is a battlefield. And every thought you entertain either builds your destiny or destroys it. The first step to victory is awareness. You cannot defeat something you do not see. Begin to pay attention to your thoughts. Notice the ones that make you feel defeated, the ones that make you doubt yourself, and then confront them. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me, or is it hurting me? Your mind is a garden. If you plant weeds, weeds will grow. But if you plant seeds of faith, hope, and positivity, your life will blossom. Next, replace those negative thoughts with empowering truths. Speak life into your situation. Speak words that align with what is possible, not what seems impossible. Your words have creative power. They shape your reality. When fear says, "You will fail," respond with courage, "I am capable, and I will succeed." When doubt says, "You are not enough," respond with faith, "I am more than enough, and I am equipped for every challenge." I want you to understand that changing your mindset is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. It requires discipline. Each day you must feed your mind with positive, faith-filled thoughts. Read inspiring words. Meditate on truth. Surround yourself with people who encourage and uplift you. Protect your mind like you would protect Petrage, because it is the source of everything you will ever accomplish. Finally, remember this: your past does not define your future. Every setback, every disappointment, every failure is only a stepping stone toward your breakthrough. The moment you reject negative thinking and embrace a mindset of possibility, you activate the power to overcome, to rise, and to achieve. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a victor in the making. Your mind is powerful. Your thoughts are shaping your destiny even now. Do not let fear, doubt, or negativity dictate the story of your life. Change your mindset. Defeat negative thinking. Choose faith. Choose hope. Choose life. And watch as everything around you begins to change. The first step to defeating negative thinking is recognizing that the battle begins in your mind. Too often, people blame circumstances, other people, or the world around them for their struggles. But the real battlefield is within. Your thoughts are constantly shaping your reality, influencing your actions, and determining the results you experience. Negative thinking is a subtle enemy. It does not always appear in obvious forms. It sneaks in quietly, whispering doubts, magnifying fears, and convincing you that you are limited. The moment you allow these thoughts to dominate, you give power to circumstances that have no real authority over your life. Recognizing this battle is the first step to victory. Awareness of your thoughts allows you to confront them. You cannot change what you do not see. Start by paying attention to the patterns of thinking that run through your mind each day. Notice the times when fear, worry, or self-doubt begin to rise. Notice the thoughts that tell you that you are not enough, that you cannot succeed, or that your dreams are impossible. When you identify these negative thoughts, you gain the power to confront them directly. Your mind is like a garden, and every thought you allow to take root will grow and produce results. If you plant seeds of negativity, fear, and limitation, your life will reflect struggle, frustration, and defeat. But if you deliberately plant seeds of faith, hope, and confidence, your life will begin to flourish in ways that align with your true potential. Confronting negative thinking requires courage. It requires a conscious decision to reject thoughts that do not serve you and to replace them with thoughts that are life-giving. Each time a thought of doubt arises, respond with a thought of empowerment. Each time a fear threatens to dominate, respond with faith. Each time worry tries to cloud your mind, respond with clarity and focus on possibilities. This practice is not a one-time event, it is a daily discipline. You must continually monitor your thoughts, actively choosing which ones to nurture and which ones to reject. Your mind is a powerful instrument, capable of creating solutions, generating ideas, and attracting opportunities, but only if it is protected and fed with positive, empowering thoughts. Surround yourself with influences that reinforce this mindset. Speak words that build rather than destroy. Read messages that inspire rather than discourage. Engage with people who uplift and encourage, because their influence strengthens your ability to think positively and act decisively. Negative thinking can be deeply rooted, often stemming from past experiences, disappointments, or patterns learned over time. But your past does not have to control your present or future. Each thought is an opportunity to choose differently, to think differently, and to act differently. Your awareness is your first weapon. The more conscious you are of your thoughts, the more control you have over your mindset. Victory over negative thinking is not about ignoring reality. It is about changing your perception of it. It is about refusing to let fear, doubt, or limitation dictate your actions. It is about seeing beyond the obstacles and focusing on what is possible. When you recognize the battle in your mind, you gain the power to change it. You gain the power to defeat thoughts that do not serve you. You gain the power to cultivate a mindset that attracts success, opportunity, and breakthroughs. The first step to transformation is awareness, and awareness empowers you to confront, reject, and replace negativity with faith, hope, and determination. Every moment you invest in this mental discipline strengthens your mind, sharpens your focus, and positions you to achieve everything you were created to accomplish. To truly change your life, you must understand that your mind is the gateway to your destiny, and the way you think determines the life you will experience. Most people do not realize that they are living in a prison of their own thoughts. They are trapped in fear, doubt, and limitation, not because circumstances have defeated them, but because they have allowed negative thinking to control their minds. The moment you decide to embrace a mindset of possibility, you open the door to every opportunity that has been waiting for you. Possibility is not a vague hope. It is a decision to refuse limitation and to walk boldly in faith. When you shift your focus from what could go wrong to what can go right, you begin to see doors opening where once there were only walls. Every breakthrough begins with a change in thinking. Your thoughts are like seeds. What you plant in your mind will grow into your reality. If you plant doubt, fear, and negativity, your life will be filled with obstacles that seem insurmountable. But if you plant courage, faith, and determination, you will begin to experience growth, progress, and unexpected favor. You must speak to your mind as if it were a field ready for harvest. Speak words of faith. Speak words of hope. Speak words that remind yourself that you are capable of more than you can imagine. Possibility begins when you refuse to accept the limitations that fear and negativity have placed on your mind. It begins when you tell yourself, I am more than my past, stronger than my doubts, and ready for what is ahead. Too often, people wait for circumstances to change before they believe they can succeed. But the truth is that mindset precedes manifestation. Your life will not change until your thinking changes. You cannot expect doors of opportunity to open while your mind is closed to hope. You cannot expect breakthroughs to come while you are still feeding your mind with defeat. Possibility requires boldness. It requires a refusal to settle for mediocrity or stagnation. It demands that you cultivate resilience, that you train your mind to focus on solutions instead of problems, on victories instead of failures. Each day, you have a choice. Will you allow negativity to dominate, or will you embrace the power of what is possible? When you begin to focus on what can be done rather than what cannot, you unlock creativity, resourcefulness, and courage that were hidden within you. Every great achievement in history began with someone who refused to be limited by the circumstances around them and instead embraced the power of possibility. They refused to accept the voice of doubt, and they spoke life into their vision. You too can do this in your own life. Begin by training your mind. Refuse to entertain thoughts that tell you that you are not enough, that it is too late, or that you are incapable. Replace them with thoughts that remind you of your potential, your purpose, and the strength that is already within you. Surround yourself with people who reinforce possibility, who encourage faith, and who refuse to settle for negativity. Protect your mind as fiercely as you would protect your dreams. When challenges arise, remember that they are not signs of defeat, but invitations to rise. Possibility is awakened in those who refuse to give in to fear. It grows in those who dare to believe in their purpose, even when the road seems unclear. It flourishes in the hearts of those who decide that their mindset will determine their future, not their past. Each moment you spend choosing hope over despair, courage over fear, and faith over doubt, you are planting seeds of breakthrough, seeds that will one day blossom into success, abundance, and the fulfillment of your destiny. Discipline in thought is the foundation of a victorious life, and feeding your mind daily with what is positive, true, and faith-filled is the key to transforming your circumstances. Too often, people allow their minds to be flooded with negativity, whether from the news, social media, or the pessimism of others, and they do not realize how much this affects their reality. Your mind is like a garden, and every day you make choices about what to plant, nurture, and allow to grow. If you neglect it, weeds of fear, doubt, and discouragement will take root and choke the life out of your dreams. But if you deliberately plant seeds of hope and confidence and purpose, your life will begin to reflect the abundance, joy, and victory that these thoughts produce. Feeding your mind daily is not optional. It is essential. It requires consistency, commitment, and a conscious decision to protect your thoughts from influences that weaken your faith. The words you speak, the books you read, the people you surround yourself with, and the media you consume all contribute to the formation of your mindset. Choose carefully, because what enters your mind will shape your attitude, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. Meditation on truth, reflection on positive experiences, and daily reminders of your value and purpose help cultivate a resilient and empowered mind. Begin each day with affirmations that remind you of who you are, what you are capable of, and what you are destined to achieve. When fear tells you that you are not enough, remind yourself that your potential exceeds your doubts. When challenges seem overwhelming, feed your mind with thoughts of faith and strategies for overcoming obstacles. Surround yourself with people who inspire and uplift, not with those who reinforce negativity and limitation. Every successful person understands the power of their environment and the influence it has on their thinking. Protect your mind as if it were a treasure, because it is the source of your creativity, your decisions, and your breakthroughs. Guard it against constant worry, endless complaining, and repetitive negative thoughts, for these are thieves of peace and productivity. Feed it instead with gratitude, vision, and belief in the unseen possibilities that lie ahead. Discipline is not always easy. It requires effort, persistence, and sometimes sacrifice. It may feel unnatural at first to reject the automatic responses of doubt and fear that have been cultivated over years. But each time you choose to focus on the positive, each time you consciously redirect your thoughts to what is uplifting and empowering, you strengthen your mind and your spirit. This practice will create resilience, clarity, and focus, allowing you to make decisions that align with your highest goals and deepest purpose. The more you feed your mind with life-giving thoughts, the more you will notice that your circumstances begin to shift. Opportunities that seemed hidden will become visible, solutions to problems will appear, and the confidence to take bold steps will grow within you. You will find that challenges no longer paralyze you, but become stepping stones for growth. The process of feeding your mind daily is a journey, not a single event. It is a lifestyle of intentionality, where you refuse to allow negativity to dominate and instead actively cultivate thoughts that empower, encourage, and strengthen. Each moment you invest in this practice multiplies your potential, shapes your character, and positions you for breakthroughs that you could never achieve otherwise. When your mind is nourished with truth, hope, and faith, your life begins to reflect the possibilities you once only dreamed about. Your past is a collection of experiences, but it does not define the life you are meant to live. Too many people carry the weight of past failures, disappointments, and mistakes, believing that they are stuck because of what has already happened. They replay memories of lost opportunities, moments of rejection, and times when things did not go as planned. Yet every setback is not a sentence to a limited life. It is a lesson designed to prepare you for what lies ahead. The moment you understand that the past is a teacher, it's not a master, you release yourself from the chains of regret and limitation. Holding on to your past only strengthens the grip of negative thinking. It tells you that you cannot move forward, that you are incapable of change, and that success is out of reach. But the truth is that your past is only a reference point, it's not a barrier. Every day is an opportunity to reset your mind, redirect your focus, and choose a future filled with hope and possibility. Letting go of the past requires courage. It requires a conscious decision to forgive yourself and others for what has happened and to refuse to carry the baggage of yesterday into the present. Negative thinking thrives when you dwell on old wounds, failures, and disappointments because it convinces you that the story is over and that nothing can change. But the story is far from over. Your destiny is waiting for the mindset that is ready to rise above limitation. Each failure contains a seed of growth. Each challenge contains a lesson that, if embraced, will strengthen you for the battles ahead. When you view your past through the lens of possibility rather than defeat, you discover that your life has been preparing you for greater things. You begin to see patterns, opportunities, and strengths that were hidden in experiences you once considered painful. The key is to focus on what can be done today, not what went wrong yesterday. Your thoughts must be redirected from regret to faith, from criticism to encouragement, from fear to confidence. By refusing to let the past dominate your thinking, you create space for breakthroughs, new opportunities, and the manifestation of your potential. Each day you choose to release the hold of your past, you strengthen your ability to act in alignment with your purpose. Your mindset becomes one of growth, resilience, and hope rather than limitation, shame, or despair. Surround yourself with influences that reinforce this mindset. Read words that uplift and inspire. Listen to messages that encourage courage. Engage with people who believe in possibility and refuse to let negativity dictate their lives. Discipline your mind to focus on what is ahead, not what has been behind you. Remember that every great success story was written by someone who refused to let their past define them. They faced failure, rejection, and disappointment, yet they chose to see beyond their circumstances. They chose to act, to believe, and to persevere despite what had happened before. You too can make this choice. You can decide today that your past will no longer control your future. You can refuse the lies that tell you that you are limited by history. Instead, you can embrace the truth that your mindset has the power to create a new reality. The moment you stop looking back with regret and start looking forward with faith. You step into the life that has been waiting for you, a life filled with victory, opportunity, and purpose. Every action you take, every thought you nurture, and every word you speak becomes aligned with the possibilities that lie ahead, and your past becomes a platform. It's not a prison. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and the way you choose to think will determine the life you create. Possibility is not something that happens to you. It is something you activate when you refuse to be limited by fear, doubt, or negativity. Many people live their lives small because they allow the circumstances around them to dictate what they believe is possible. They measure their potential by past failures, by what others say, or by the challenges they face. But the truth is that the power to achieve, to rise above, and to create the life you desire already exists within you. It begins with the decision to embrace a mindset of possibility. Possibility requires vision. It requires seeing beyond what is currently visible, beyond the obstacles, beyond the discouragements, and focusing on what could be. It requires the courage to believe in outcomes that have not yet manifested. When you choose to focus on possibilities, you change the way your mind processes challenges. Instead of seeing barriers, you begin to see opportunities. Instead of seeing defeat, you begin to see lessons and strategies for success. Your thoughts shape your perception of reality, and your perception of reality shapes your actions. Every great accomplishment in history began with someone who believed in what could be, not just what was. Possibility grows when you refuse to accept limitations. It grows when you refuse to repeat the lies that have been spoken over you or that you have spoken to yourself. Every negative thought is an opportunity to replace it with a faith-filled, empowering thought. Every doubt is a chance to remind yourself of your capabilities, your potential, and your purpose. Possibility is strengthened through repetition. The more you train your mind to see opportunities, to focus on solutions rather than problems, and to speak life into your circumstances, the more your reality begins to reflect that mindset. You must consciously feed your mind with thoughts that are constructive, positive, and aligned with the life you want to create. Surround yourself with voices that reinforce possibility. Seek encouragement, wisdom, and insight from those who believe in potential rather than limitations. Remove influences that drain your hope or reinforce negativity. Your environment plays a critical role in shaping your mindset, and you have the authority to choose what you allow into your mental and emotional space. Courage is essential to possibility. It takes courage to act despite uncertainty, to move forward despite fear, and to pursue your dreams when the road is unclear. But courage is cultivated in the mind before it is expressed in action. When your thoughts are filled with hope, faith, and vision, courage becomes a natural response to challenges. Every time you make the choice to believe in what is possible, you plant seeds of growth, breakthrough, and success. Your actions, fueled by a positive and empowered mindset, create momentum that attracts opportunities and opens doors that once seemed closed. Possibility is not limited by current circumstances. It is only limited by the boundaries you place on your own thinking. When you embrace the mindset that anything is achievable, that you are capable of more than you have experienced, and that your future is not defined by your past, you step into a life of influence, abundance, and victory. The mind that believes in possibilities sees opportunities in obstacles, solutions in problems, and growth in challenges. It refuses to be trapped by fear, doubt, or negativity, and instead focuses on what can be accomplished, what can be created, and what can be overcome. This mindset transforms not only your outcomes, but your character, your resilience, and your ability to inspire others around you. By activating the power of possibility in your thoughts, you set in motion a chain of actions, decisions, and breakthroughs that align your life with the destiny you are meant to fulfill.